I'm joined in studio by a stunning woman. She's an actress, a producer, and an author. Her name is Isosa E, and today you're going to get to know her. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great.
Now, I was just admiring your impeccable, incredible style.
Please
tell us where your outfit is from.
Well, I designed this jumpsuit. I actually started my whole creative journey in college studying fashion design, and I worked as a freelance designer for a long time. So I love making designing my own clothes. It makes me feel uniquely me.
You're a creative woman through and through, aren't you? I introduced you as an actress, a producer, a writer. You're also a designer. Have you always been so creative? And how did you hone that skill?
Yeah, I always have. I think it was really difficult at the beginning of my journey because I knew I wanted to be an actor, and I started studying acting after. Actually sort of in tandem with fashion design. And then I was trying to figure out how all of my talents worked because everyone else seemed to they fit in one box. And I was trying to fit myself only into the actor box, and it made me very, very frustrated. This was when I was just out of college and living in New York and all that stuff. And then I just realized that for me, I have to be creative. I need to have a creative outlet, and I need to allow myself to find outlets for my different talents. So I've sort of organized it now in a way that makes me productive and happy, because I can't, for me as an actor, I cannot sit around and wait, which is also why I produce. I'm not the type that likes to sit around and wait for people to give me a call. So I'm always going to be creating something or writing something or designing something just to keep myself busy.
And right now you're here for your one-woman show.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You wrote and you're acting in your one-woman show that's happening at the Alexander Bar Theater. Tell us about the show.
So the show is called The Woman Who Would Be King, and it's about Hatshepsut. She is a really interesting woman because she was kind of erased from history. People didn't want people to know about her because she was one of the only female pharaohs, and she ruled for over 20 years. She was the fifth pharaoh in the 18th dynasty, and basically she was supposed to be ruling with this young boy who was going to then become king, and she just decided to declare herself king. And I just
That's
found
amazing.
It's amazing, and I think it's so relevant right now with politics and women running for office, presidents and all that stuff. I think it's so relevant right now, and I just I've always had an affinity for ancient Egypt, and I've always been very kind of disturbed by the way that ancient Egypt is portrayed in the media. There's always sort of this appropriation that happens. It never really feels like an authentically Egyptian story in terms of why are Egyptians in major feature films speaking in a British accent? Or why are they, And so these are the questions and things, and I always wanted to play one, but I knew I didn't want to do Cleopatra. I knew I didn't want to do Nefertiti. I love them, but I feel like a lot of people know about them and they're overdone. But Hatshepsut was so inspiring and interesting, especially because no one wanted her story to be told, and people don't talk about her that much.
How did you learn about her story?
I heard about her from a playwright friend in Washington, D.C., and I went to see something that they did, and then I took on his show and ended up rewriting a lot of it, and then did that rendition, and then decided, no, I don't like this rendition. I want to do my own, version of the story, and that's where the new version has come into play.
Tell me about the one thing about this female pharaoh, Hatshepsut, that really, really touches you.
I think her story is really, it's about somebody who her entire society didn't, believe that she was meant to rule, and she still went for it. And I'm that kind of person, so I think that's what really drew me to her. It's you can tell me no a million times, I'm still going to do it.
I'm also that kind of person.
Yeah. So, I love that spirit about her, and just also this spirit of being also just a woman who is expected to follow a certain path. She's expected to just be groomed as a princess and be a queen, but she's like, no, I actually have a vision for this country, and I think I could rule. And she ruled actually very peacefully. Her monuments are still there. She built so many things. She led expeditions that brought things back to Egypt that were never there before. So she actually ruled very well during her 20 years.
What do you hope people take away from the show?
I hope people are inspired. I hope people talk about politics and see how it relates to politics today, and then also how it relates to women in power, and not just women in like, you know, political power, but women in even just being a CEO or running businesses. And I feel like this is the time to keep that conversation going, because we've broken so much ground as women, but there's so much more that we can do. We should be paid the same amount as men or more. And you know, we just have to, I just love the discussion around that. I'm always about like, how can women be empowered, and how can violence against women stop, and how can we make sure that all little girls everywhere can get education, you know, proper education.